Ladies and gentlemen, Red Owl Boxing proudly presents the co-main event of the evening. This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds or less in the super middleweight division and is sponsored by Soberman, Goldstein, and Associates. The 3 judges scoring the bout at ringside: Jasper Kujavsky, Jeremy Hayes, and Martin Dalida. And once the action begins, your referee, Rocky Zolnierczyk. Introducing first, on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, and tonight wearing black, trimmed with white and gold. His official weight, 166.5 pounds. He enters the ring with a record of 4 wins against 6 defeats, 1 draw, 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of and representing Montreal, Quebec. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Kenny Chery. Right, fighting out of the red corner, and tonight wearing blue trimmed with white. His official weight, 167 pounds. He enters the ring with a record of 11 wins with only 1 defeat, 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Toronto, Ontario, introducing Nick Fantauzzi. Referee Rocky Zolnierczyk to give final instructions.
Okay, fighters, went over the instructions in the change room. Expect you to obey my commands, touch up, come out banging.
Well, we saw during the stare down the physical advantages that Nick Fantauzzi will enjoy. Fantauzzi has gradually worked his way down to 168. Kenny Chery has said in the past he's probably most comfortable at about 154, not a natural super middleweight, excuse me. But coming up to face a good puncher in Fantauzzi here tonight, round 1, scheduled for 8.
And you can see the physical size difference in both men.
Don't be chasing him. Touch, there you go. Strong base.
Fantauzzi said in particular he's worked on his balance throughout camp, and oh my goodness, Chery almost went over the top rope, almost looked like Stevie Spark against Montana Love. Fantauzzi back to his jabs. Shot to the body there from Fantauzzi. Chery trying to counter to the body. Might be a good idea for him. Again, the stature of Fantauzzi, such that Chery might have the best routes to the body in terms of trying to land something significant. As he looks for a right hand downstairs again.
And for Fantauzzi with his size advantage, you just got to just calmly and patiently just start sticking that jab and keep Chery at the end of his punches until he starts making contact with the jab. And you're right, Corey. I mean, Chery has a lot of real estate to work with. I mean, it's hard for a guy with Nick Fantauzzi's height to guard his head and body at the same time. So, I mean, if Chery has the opportunity to feint and fake to go to the head or go to the body or vice versa, and really start playing some mental games with Nick Fantauzzi.
Good work from Chery here, slipping some of those shots from Fantauzzi. Comes back with a jab that connects.
Watch that overhand coming. To right, right.
I can tell you right now, Corey, the key for Nick Fantauzzi tonight and throughout the rest of the night is going to be that jab. To keep a guy who's elusive and slick and has good movement like that, he's going to need the jab. It's going to be imperative for him to be victorious tonight to have a good jab against Chery.
Chery, one of the coaches at Donnybrook Boxing in Montreal. Works with the amateur team. And Fantauzzi again getting a little physical on the inside, giving Chery a little shove. Chery protesting to the official, but no warning as of yet. And that'll do it for round 1.
not the most action-filled round, but I felt that Fantauzzi really controlled the round with the jab, threw lots of jabs and kept Chery moving and kept Chery at the end of his punches.
Take a look at what action there was in the opening round.
Nothing really of significance landed there. We had Fantauzzi almost came over onto our lap there, but that's going to be the key right there. The long, lengthy jab of Nick Fantauzzi to keep Chery at the end of the punches.
Round 2 underway. Good controlled round there for Nick Fantauzzi in the opening round, but I also felt, Steve, a good round for Kenny Chery in terms of getting into his flow defensively. When we've seen him get into trouble in the past against guys like Antonio Napolitano, it's been when he's tried to catch shots on the glove. When the more he shells up, the more danger he finds himself in. But right now, we're seeing a lot of head movement, a lot of upper body movement, not making it easy on Fantauzzi to connect.
And the only reason I gave Fantauzzi the first round is because he was more active. But you were absolutely right, Corey. Chery was finding his groove, and he was getting comfortable in there, slipping and sliding like he is right there. And when a fighter gets in that state of a fight where he's starting to feel his flow and catch his rhythm, it could be a long, dangerous night for Nick Fantauzzi if Chery really finds his groove like that.
Chery trying to get his jab working. Connects on her right hand. Good defense there from Chery. Gets out of the way. See if Chery can find his confidence offensively here. Corner of Fantauzzi constantly repeating too big, meaning you're loading up a little bit too much. That shot certainly connected.
And Fantauzzi has Chery right at the end of his shots there. He has him in the ropes. He's just got to let go of that right hand and quit hesitating. He's got to pull him. He's got him right where he wants him.
Good uppercut on the inside. And Fantauzzi now has Chery a little bit off balance.
Fantauzzi landed a few good shots in there. Another good right hand by Fantauzzi.
A little admonishment there for Fantauzzi, but he's finding something with that uppercut on the inside. Corner of Fantauzzi imploring him to shorten up on those shots. And a right hand connects, and another uppercut for Fantauzzi. Momentum starting to build for Fantauzzi here in the latter half of round 2.
And he's starting to throw 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. No, they're not all landing as we close in at the end of the second round here. They're very impressionable for the judges. I mean, they're seeing Nick Fantauzzi throw punches. I know they're only landing in the gloves. They're not seeing anything from Kenny Chery.
Terrific round for Nick Fantauzzi as we take a look back at some of the action.
And Fantauzzi landed a lot of good, clean, hard shots this round as he caught him there with the long right hand. And he just applied a lot of pressure that Chery didn't really have the answer for. And Nick Fantauzzi let his hands go. He was throwing 3 and 4 or 5 punch combinations.
Round 3 begins. Momentum firmly in the favor of Nick Fantauzzi right now. Second half of round 2 is a dominant one for Fantauzzi. And an issue right now for Chery, Steve, is that I get the sense that Fantauzzi doesn't feel threatened by anything that Chery is throwing right now. He might be difficult to hit at times, but I don't think Fantauzzi is worried about what's coming back.
And I really think that the length of Nick Fantauzzi is causing a lot of problems for Chery. He can't get in.
At the same time, one thing that Fantauzzi stressed to me before the fight is that I can't be too comfortable just taking punches. So even if he does feel that way about what's coming at him towards Chery, he has to remain defensively responsible. Not doing so has got him in trouble in the past.
Both men exchanging jabs.
Shot to the body there, straight right hand downstairs from Chery. Now Fantauzzi comes back with a right hand of his own. Some very direct advice from the corner of Fantauzzi right now. They're telling him he's winning this round. Motivational tactics from Billy Martin in the corner of Fantauzzi.
Billy Martin knows how to pull the best out of his fighters. He worked my corner for many, many fights. He's one of the greatest coaches I feel in this country.
Inside the final minute here of round 3. For a counter left hook, comes up a little bit short. Both men coming up short in that exchange. Fantauzzi hoping to win a Canadian super middleweight title by the end of the year. That title is vacant right now, but he has to get by Kenny Chery if he wants to keep that dream alive.
Chery's doing his best, but I just think the length and the style of Nick Fantauzzi is not giving Chery an opportunity to let his hands go or get off. And credit to Nick Fantauzzi and his team, Billy Martin. I mean, he's using his length to the best of his ability. And I mean, Chery just not letting his hands go, or he's not given an opportunity to have his hands let go.
Round 4 begins in our 8-round co-feature between Nick Fantauzzi and Kenny Chery. Fantauzzi, as he has been doing, has worked his way down to 168. Kenny Chery really coming up to 168. And Chery has said in interviews in the past that, you know, getting to fight at a weight he's most comfortable with, that's pretty difficult because he does have a job as a professor, and he can't be drastically cutting weight and not have any energy when he's trying to teach his students.
Not unless he was a phys ed teacher.
Right. Chery trying to close the distance on Fantauzzi here, trying a different direction, a different method to get in the front door. Counter shot there from Chery a moment ago. Check left hook.
Oh, and a good right hand from Fantauzzi.
A good shot there from Fantauzzi. That one backed him up.
When he keeps Chery at the end of the shots and uses that length, that's when he's getting the most power from those shots, and he landed a couple good right hands.
Stiff jab there from Fantauzzi.
And I said it in the first round, Corey, the key of this fight was going to be the jab of Nick Fantauzzi. He hasn't let up on it. It's been a key all night. He's been pumping that jab all night, and it's been what's keeping Chery off balance, at bay, and really providing no answer because of the jab of Nick Fantauzzi.
Kind of an atypical Nick Fantauzzi fight. We're used to seeing him in wild brawls, frankly, to this point in his career. A bit of a quieter night for Fantauzzi, and that seems to be intentional. I think he really wants to settle things down, especially if he wants to hit the upper reaches of the national level.
I think after his last fight and after, kind of going things through with Billy Martin, I think, they reinvented themselves, try to work on a little bit more boxing from the outside. And, though it's not a war like a lot of his other fights have been, he's boxing from the outside, not taking a whole lot of punishment. Here we go. Fantauzzi just with the jab and just the reach and the length does not give Chery the opportunity to do anything. We got to give credit to Billy Martin and his team, because I know they've been at the Hard Knocks gym in downtown Toronto working on a lot of things, and I see a few of them coming through here tonight against Kenny Chery.
Round 5 begins as Nick Fantauzzi trying to bounce back after his first career loss at the hands of Michael Onefsky. That was in July of last year on the undercard of Steve Rolls, Shady Gamour. And Fantauzzi said, I woke up the next morning thinking I won, thinking that what happened was kind of out of my hands, before then kind of realizing what he could have done to prevent what happened. But Fantauzzi seemed to be in a pretty good headspace in terms of learning from that loss and moving forward. Good shot there from Fantauzzi, a left hook. Rocks the head back of Kenny Chery.
And he got it from the outside. When he's close to the inside like that, there's no benefits to Nick Fantauzzi. All it does is give Chery a safe place to relax. And on the outside like that is right where he's got to be, that beautiful right hand from the outside.
Straight right hand right down the middle. We've seen Chery victimized by shots like that in the past. Just a straight right hand that splits the guard. There can be openings there, and Fantauzzi has found them. Referee Rocky Zolarchek trying to hustle to get out of the way of Kenny Chery, who's trying to get away from Nick Fantauzzi, who's putting things together pretty well here in the 5th round.
He's really starting to find his groove, Corey. And again, it's all come off that long, beautiful jab that he's kept in Chery's face all night from the opening round.
Left to go here in round 5. Fantauzzi's corner telling him to let that right hand go, let it go as Chery is moving his hands back.
And I got to be in agreement with him, Corey. I'm just like, they're right, throw the right hand. I mean, he's picking him and touching with that jab perfectly, and his hands are down, so with that reach, he should step in and let go of that right hand.
Where's the right? Again, 1, 2. Right now. There you go again. Where's the one? Nick, he's taking this round off. This is your round. Nick, strong. Again, where's the right after that? The right after that. I don't know how many fucking times I gotta tell you, Nick. Throw the fucking right hand.
Well, the corner of Nick Fantauzzi furious with their fighter right now and trying to get him to unload that right hand. He lets a few of them go. Well, let's listen into the corner.
And like I said, Coach Billy Martin was my coach, and he has no problem letting you know the truth. And that's exactly what we heard at the end of the last round as Billy Martin right beside us. Let go of the right hand, and he's right. Kenny Chery's not doing anything defensively to get out of the way of the jab from Nick Fantauzzi. So the right hand is right there. He can whip it over top, whip it down the pipe. There we see some action from earlier. When Fantauzzi uses that jab, Chery has no answer at all. So hopefully here in the sixth and final round, we'll be able to see if Nick Fantauzzi lets go of the right hand and pulls the trigger.
Well, a much different attitude in the corner of Nick Fantauzzi between rounds. We'll see if that can light the fuse for Nick Fantauzzi as round 6 begins.
Drop it on him right there. That's just not gonna see it coming there. He's too worried about the jab.
And Fantauzzi will drag Chery to the canvas, but very sportsmanlike. Aids him back up. I mean, these are two of the most well-liked fighters in Canadian boxing, period. No one has anything bad to say about either Nick Fantauzzi or Kenny Chery.
I don't know Kenny Chery personally, but Nick Fantauzzi, absolutely just one of the nicest guys you can meet in this sport. These aren't guys that talk about being violent or being tough. These are just nice guys who box. Obviously, Kenny Chery being a professor in Montreal, this goes to show what type of person he is.
Right over top. Nick, I see these openings. Now do not see these fucking openings. Throw your hands. There, again.
Fantauzzi just misses with that right hand.
Gotta drop it.
Or just begging for right hands, and that one connects from Fantauzzi. Fantauzzi talked before the fight about wanting to stop overcommitting on some of his shots, Steve. And maybe we're seeing a little bit of hesitance when you go into a fight thinking, okay, I don't want to overcommit. Maybe what materializes is just not throwing enough.
And you could be absolutely right there. I feel like he's not pulling the trigger because when he does let go of the right hand, he's landed money or he's hitting him in the forehead, and it hasn't missed tonight. He landed a big right hand and left hook there. As I was saying earlier, Corey, sorry, yeah, when he lets the right hand go, it lands at will or is pushing Chery back. It's doing something to show the judges that he's landing clean punches.
Inside the final minute here in round 6. This one's scheduled for 8. Good right hand on the inside.
Oh, there's a good right hand.
Nice counter there from Chery, although Chery, looking at the body language, the movement right now might be starting to tire here, Steve.
And I think just the overall size of Fantauzzi, the roughness of this fight, and Fantauzzi leaning on him, it's definitely taken a lot out of Chery. And as we said earlier in the fight, him moving up in weight and walking around naturally this weight, with Fantauzzi coming down, the size difference is obvious in Fantauzzi's favor.
are fans here at the Owl's Nest in Brampton, Ontario. If you're in the Toronto region, if you get an opportunity to come here to the Red Owl Performance Center and check it out, it is definitely a fantastic environment for watching a boxing match and, of course, training as well, as we look back at some of the action for round 6.
And just the length and the jab of Nick Fantauzzi is what has won him this fight and will continue to win him this fight. As we heard Coach Billy Martin pleading for him to throw the right hand, and as he threw it near the end of the last round, he laid in some beautiful right hands. As we head into round number 7 of 8.
Round 7 begins. Nick Fantauzzi and Kenny Chery here in our co-feature. 8 rounds in the super middleweight division. Of course, a reminder that you can follow Red Owl Boxing on Instagram for all the updates on upcoming shows here at the Owl's Nest, including one coming up on May 13th. Boxfest returns to the Owl's Nest. Right now, Kenny Chery doing some decent work to the body. Good combination downstairs. I mentioned that Chery has never fought as a professional in his hometown of Montreal. He is always on the road, always taking these types of assignments. And frankly, fighters like Chery, they're very important to the boxing ecosystem. If guys like Chery don't take fights on the road, cards like this don't happen.
Without question, Corey, somebody's got to be able to to be a road warrior and go on the road. And hats off to Kenny Chery and his team. I mean, they're a tough group from Montreal. They're willing to travel to everyone's hometown and give opportunities like Nick Fantauzzi to fight in front of other people and put on a good performance like we're seeing here tonight.
Kenny Chery still in there trying to land something big. This isn't just a charitable effort for Kenny Chery as he lands another good left hook. Now Fantauzzi places a nice right hand to the body. Changing levels with the right hand. In the corner of Nick Fantauzzi, I would say every about 5 to 10 seconds are begging him to throw another right hand. Now Fantauzzi starting to put his punches together.
And lands a nice
Kenny
right
Chery
hand.
looks hurt, and Chery goes down.
I don't think it was
That
a
will
clean
not
shot,
be called a
Corey.
knockdown. But Chery looks affected by that shot.
It was a big right hand when Chery was in the corner that hurt Chery.
Boy, Fantauzzi had an uppercut for an opportunity for a home run uppercut there.
You just got to keep pumping that jab and set him up with that jab and just let go of that right hand. There's only 20 seconds left here in round number 7, and that's what he's got to do.
Fantauzzi picking up the tempo here. In the final moments of round 7, Fantauzzi hunting for his 6th knockout, but Kenny Chery comes in with a nice right hand. Back comes Fantauzzi.
He caught Fantauzzi walking in, and he stepped back and threw a right hand of his own. Fantauzzi's got to be careful being too reckless going for the stoppage. But overall, very good round for Nick Fantauzzi. He really applied a lot of pressure physically, mentally on Kenny Chery, and really let his hands go and listen to his corner and listen to Billy Martin and start letting go of that right hand. And it was effective, as we see here. That one fell a little short. As we see Fantauzzi catch him with the wide hook. And just apply a lot of pressure and physically just put a lot of pressure on Chery and just push him to the ground there. It's been a long night for Kenny Chery.
Yeah, frustrating night for Chery. I think just the physical disadvantages that he's trying to fight against here have been a little bit too much. The 8th and final round now underway. Fantauzzi had Chery in some trouble at the end of round 7. Was starting to step on the gas. We'll see if he can keep that up here in the final round.
Pressure. Pressure. Right there. Stick. Something to think about, Nick. Right hand right there. Look at that chin. It's right there.
It'll be interesting to see how Chery approaches this round here. Does he take some risks, knowing that, frankly, that's probably his best chance on the scorecard, his only chance on the scorecard, you would think right now. But hard right hand from Fantauzzi. That backs Chery up, and Fantauzzi starting to come alive.
He's just grabbing on now, Nick. Get on him.
And Fantauzzi can't crowd himself like that, Corey. That's not going to do him any favors. When he posts him like that, post him and let go of the right hand. Those are the shots. And a creative
Good counter there,
shot
definitely.
by Chery.
Chery using the elasticity of the ropes to their fullest extent. But Fantauzzi connects on a big right hand and an uppercut.
Again. Nick, get on him. He's done. He's done, Nick. Get on him.
The corner of Fantauzzi thinks that a knockout could be imminent here. A minute 20 remaining in the fight.
Let's go. Right hand. Drop it, Nick. Drop it.
And they are right. Chery's dead tired. That's a lot of weight over the 8 rounds of Nick Fantauzzi, the heavier man, leaning on you, jabbing you, applying pressure like he is.
Work. Uppercut. Come on, Nick. Big round. Big finish.
Final minute of the fight as Fantauzzi hunting
Drop it.
for the big finish here. He's had Chery in trouble more than once in this round.
Let's go. Right hand, Nick. Drop it.
Credit to Kenny Chery and his resilience here. It's still slipping out of the way of some of these shots.
Let's go, Nick. Continue this round. Lock him down. Lock him down. Don't step back. Do not go back.
And Kenny Chery has taken on a big physical challenge in this fight.
Come on. Stop thinking about your fucking hand. Let's go.
He's continued to stand right in front of Nick Fantauzzi all night long.
Again. Drop it.
And it looks like Chery will be able to go the distance, but maybe not. He is out on his feet.
Oh my God!
Unbelievable. Could it be a buzzer beater of a knockout? Unbelievable. Kenny Chery survives to go the distance.
Rocket would have let that go.
Well, Kenny Chery was given the benefit of the doubt with the referee knowing where we were at in the fight, allowed him to go the distance in this one.
But he was out.
Well, what a finish to this one. Let's take a look at it.
The right hands, when Fantauzzi let the right hand go after those jabs, those couldn't miss for him. And that's what the corner Billy Martin was calling for. And that was the short little counter shot from Chery. And that's what hurt him, was the right hand and the right uppercut, followed by another big right hand. 3 right hands all landed by Nick Fantauzzi.
Well, Kenny Chery somehow was able to hear the final bell on his feet. You know, another official might have ruled that another way, might have given the knockout to Nick Fantauzzi, but you cannot question the heart of Kenny Chery, who stepped in there on the road against a bigger man and took his best shot in the closing seconds of the fight. Now a show of respect from both fighters. We'll take a look back at some highlights from the fight as a whole. And Steve, really, I mean, that explosion at the end of the fight, that is what Fantauzzi's corner was screaming at him for, begging him. And they were getting very aggressive with Nick Fantauzzi throughout this fight in begging for that right hand.
Coach Billy Martin was begging and pleading right beside you, Corey. We could hear him for the past 6, 7, 8 rounds. And when he finally connected clean in round 8, it really, really hurt Kenny Chery. But ultimately, I believe, Corey, it was a jab of Nick Fantauzzi, followed by a few right hands throughout the fight, and just the constant pressure and size that ultimately broke Kenny Chery down and got the victory for Nick Fantauzzi here tonight.
So Nick Fantauzzi closes the show in style, but doesn't get the knockout. We'll see what the scorecards say. Let's send it back up to David Neiman.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judge at ringside, Jasper Kujavsky scores it 79-72. And Jeremy Hayes and Martin Dalida both score it 80-71. To your winner by unanimous decision, Nick Fantauzzi.
So Nick Fantauzzi improves to 12-1 as a professional and stays on track for a potential shot at a Canadian super middleweight title a little bit later on this year. Fantauzzi will certainly have some things to look at as he looks back at this one, and I think it'll be pretty clear. He heard the instructions all night long, Steve, and I think he'll wonder why he didn't throw that a little bit sooner, because that was a devastating shot. All right, let's set it up to the center of the ring with the third member of our broadcast team, George Nazios.
Hey everybody, we're here with Nick Fantauzzi. Incredible finish. Did you think you should have got the KO there?
To be honest, yeah, I think it was a little delayed. I'm not blaming anybody else except myself. Yeah, I think that was a KO, but you know, it's all good. He's okay, and that's all that matters, right?
Saw after you did knock him down, you were motioning to the crown to your right hand. Any problems with your right hand there?
I'm not going to make any excuses, so no.
You're 12-1 now. Your last fight was the only loss of your career. How good does it feel to get back in the win column?
To be honest, it feels great. You know, I don't want to sound corny here, but I always say no matter what happens in life, you come back stronger. You could lose, you could be sick, you could gain weight, you come back and you get better yourself, right? So my whole thing is I got better. I didn't really show that much in this fight. Kenny Chery's a cagey guy. I didn't fight the way I should have, but you know, you come back stronger. That's what everybody here has to do too. No excuses.
Great words for everybody to live by. That was a pretty dominant performance. Did you feel in trouble at any point in time?
To be honest, no. And I think that's why it was a little bit of a mental lapse, and I got hit way more than I usually do because I didn't really, I wasn't afraid of getting hit, which doesn't matter who punches you, you should be afraid. You don't want to take punishment. I got a nasty headbutt to the face, but that's because it was my fault. I let him come that close, so yeah.
Now, at the end of the 5th round, I don't know how many people in here heard it. I heard it. I think a lot of people heard it. Your coach, Billy, begging you to throw that right hand, and you stung him a couple times really late in that round. Did you hear him? He didn't, I wouldn't say begging was the words he used, but.
I definitely heard him. I hear Billy, even if he whispers, you can hear him yell. The fact is, the reason why I don't do as good as I should is because I don't listen to him. So I gotta improve.
Well, nonetheless, a very impressive performance. Thanks for an exciting fight, and congratulations, Nick.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. Red Owl, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. It's a great show, and it's a pleasure to be on it.